yeah, so standards, examples of standards are the framework. That's very important to know. What is the framework? I think kapag nabasa nyo yung framework of auditing, you will have an overview in terms of how to attack your auditing theory, auditing problems. I think auditing theory is doon lumalabas yung mga questions mostly sa standards. That's the basic. As let us say, for example, ako yung examiner, I will go into the standards, and then of course I will look into the practical application of that. So just make your foundation sa auditing theory strong by reading standards. Okay? Objective of auditor, why are you auditing? So nandyan yan sa standards na yan. Let us say the terms of agreement, that's also very important. The quality of your audit, quality controls, what are you doing as an auditor in terms of maintaining the quality of your paperworks, of your auditing, of auditing the financial statements. Okay, how you're going to document the audit. Okay, documentation is as well very important. Reports, auditor's report. Okay, nandun yung mga examples of what are the auditor's report. So we will have a discussion as well on the exercises, samples of reports. We have situation and then reports. Okay, and then what else in terms of your responsibility in terms of the fraud? If you have in terms of fraud, if you have do you have the fraud responsibility? Whose responsibility is the fraud detection? Whatever kind of fraud is that? Sino may responsibility? Anong dapat gawin ng auditor? So you should know, you should read about it. Okay? In terms of how to communicate the issues, to communicate things that you need as an auditor, communicate things that the management or your client needs to know in terms of the standards or how you do the audit. Okay, so PSA is very important, guys. If sa tingin nyo nahihirapan kayo sumagot ng multiple choices, it's because you don't have the basic or the foundation of auditing, which is the standards. Okay, so that's very important, guys. No, standard. You should know the standard. Yan. So guys, nakikita nyo na no yung auditing theory natin. I believe nag-stop ako sa teka lang. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Dito tayo, number 12. So number 12 tayo, guys. So hopefully naririnig nyo na, guys, and nakikita nyo yung ating presentation for tonight. Para hindi nyo ma-miss yung mga information or discussion na important that, you know, somehow could help you in terms of passing the board exam. So let me just try my keypad. Okay. So yeah, number 12, which of the following is true statement about the auditor's report on comparative financial statements? So guys, no, ang hinahanap is true. Okay, about auditor's report in the comparative financial statement. So ibig sabihin, there is a current year and you have the previous year comparative financial statement. So let us see. Which is true. If the financial statement of the prior period had been audited but those on the current period have not. Okay, so sabi niya, prior period, prior year is audited but itong current year is hindi pa. Teka, mali yung current year and prior year. So have been audited, current year is not. So, okay, the auditor should update the report on the prior period. And include as a separate paragraph. So bakit pa niya i-update ang prior year? Ang prior year wherein audited na siya. So it's false. Number 1 is false. Okay. A predecessor auditor may reissue the report on the financial statements of prior period provided she or he performs certain procedures including representation letters from the successor and from the management, and provided he bakit ganito guys, no? This is some sort of magkakaroon ka ng issue dito in terms of your what is this? In terms of technicalities, there's too much technicalities in this letter B na option. So I think this is letter F tuloy. This is false. Okay, because normally what we are doing is we try to reflect it in the current year or current period. Huwag mo nang gagalawin ng prior period, okay? So ang most of the practical practice is pasok lahat 'yan sa retained earnings, and then meron tayong tinatawag na let us say tinatawag tayong I forgot that yung restatement. Okay, revaluation of the financial statements. Okay, so letter C is the report should not express an opinion on different from the previously expressed. Okay, so this is false na, no? So your current period and your prior period, walang connect yan in terms of the opinion itself. So dapat objective pa rin yung pag-issue mo ng report as an auditor. So I think since A, B, and C are false, so letter D, tingnan natin, a continuing auditor may, under certain circumstances, express an opinion different. Yes, this is true. So this is exactly the opposite of letter C. So 12 is letter D. Okay? So guys, no, just to clarify, no, just to give you inputs, no, in terms of opinion, that opinion, meron kang unmodified opinion, okay? And then meron kang modified. So yung modified, nandyan yung sinasabi nating qualification, okay, opinion. Nandyan yung adverse, and then nandyan yung disclaimer. Okay? So qualified opinion when certain part, or let us say certain part of the financial statement you did not satisfy you as an auditor. Okay, like for example, your inventory. Your inventory is materially misstated by 10% maybe. Okay, or let us say materially misstated siya. But if you're going to assess it on as a whole, let us say by asset, it doesn't impact naman. So, you know, you can qualify your opinion. Right? So that's so para hindi kayo malito na guys. So that's the idea, yung qualified opinion, wherein again I'm gonna put it in example. Okay, so you have an assets, meron kang cash, meron kang receivable, meron kang inventory, meron kang prepayments, meron kang property, plant and equipment. So based on your audit, okay, based on audit and assessing it the company as a whole, okay, nakikita mo yung inventory is materially misstated. Okay? But when you're trying to compare it on total assets or total liabilities and equity, it doesn't impact your opinion as a whole, but partial lang siya. Okay? So that's the idea of qualified opinion. While adverse naman is you cannot obtain anything that will support your opinion or your audit. Okay, this is the worst kind of audit opinion or report that an auditor can issue. While for disclaimer naman, okay, disclaimer, just I'm giving you a background, or let us say, disclaimer is there when there's a guys, yung work mo, there's a limitation of work or scope of work. Pinipigilan ka ng client, okay? Pinagbabawalan ka, and then may impact siya pagdating sa financial statement. So, yeah. So when there's that kind of limitation from the client or from your from that entity, okay, it's possible that you're going to issue a disclaimer. But of course, guys, no, hindi ibig sabihin na may limitation of scope, okay? Yun na yun. So there's a process. There's a process of in terms of you as an auditor of when are you going to say na limit na that there's a limitation of scope. What if there's a limitation of scope, but then again you have an alternative procedure to do the audit, and then it satisfy you as an auditor. So basically, so yun yung mga nakakalitong situation sa board exam, di ba? Na what if may limitation of scope pero na-satisfy naman niya yung opinion ko or your working paper or you obtain a sufficient audit evidence. Okay, so it's fine. You can issue an unmodified, okay, unmodified opinion. Okay, so tingnan mo guys, number 12 pa lang tayo. Ang dami na nating na-discuss, no? That's how we do it. Okay, that's how I do it in our auditing class. Okay, in CPA Online Review School. So we are going to details pagdating sa questions na number 12 or number 13. But then again, our techniques is, you know, if you're going to enroll in our subject, is that we usually have the overview of the topics. Okay, hindi kami dumidiretso dito sa multiple choices. Okay, so this is just for the sake na may bigay kami sa inyong information agad. Okay, number 13. Marami na agad tayo na-discuss. So let's proceed on number 13. Let me just check. Guys, hopefully you can still hear me. Okay? So subject matters have different characteristics, including the degree to which information about them is qualitative versus quantitative, objectivity versus subjectivity, historical versus prospective, and relates to a point in time or covers a period. Such characteristics affect the, okay, so tingnan natin, no? Precision with which the subject matter can be evaluated or measured against criteria, okay? Persuasive of available evidence, okay? The assurance report notes characteristics of particular relevance to intended users. So guys, no, parang yung A, B, and C na option is parang jargon or bagong mga words. But if you're going to analyze, okay, if you're going to analyze the choices, precision with which subject matter can be evaluated or measured against criteria. This talks about the reliability of the information that you can obtain. While letter B is persuasiveness. So just remember, guys, no? Just remember this. Audit evidence should be, on the point of view of auditor, okay, evidence is persuasive. Okay? Mapapersuade ba ako nitong evidence na to na sufficient siya for this certain assertion? Persuasive. Okay? So this is true. Letter C naman is the assurance reports note characteristic of particular relevance or relevance. Importance of those evidence or characteristics of evidence that you're going to obtain from the client. Okay? So di ba? So ganun ang gagawin mo, guys, no? Ganun ang gagawin niyo, no, in terms of how you going to analyze a certain what is this, multiple choice jury. Hindi siya pwedeng hulaan, pero meron siyang analysis. Based yan sa understanding mo. So kung if you don't have an understanding, saan ka kukuha ng understanding? You read the standards. Okay? So let's go. Number 14. So number 13 is letter D, all of the above. Number 14 is criteria are the benchmark used to evaluate. So criteria are the benchmark, okay, used to evaluate or measure the subject. Which of the, magja-jump na ako rito guys ha. So I think nakuha ko na yung enough information. Okay, I will to measure the subject matter. Okay, so hindi ko na kailangan makita yung including, relevance, benchmark, hindi ko na kailangan malaman yan. So ang kailangan ko lang malaman ngayon is which of the following is appropriate criteria to be used by practitioner in the audit of financial statement. Diba? So audit of statement, audit of financial statements. Ano daw ang gagamitin ko as an auditor to as my basis? Criteria is the basis. Kaya sinabi niyang benchmark. Okay? Anong gagawin kong benchmark para masabi ko na acceptable yung financial statements or yung accounting practice ng isang company? Okay? So, if the company, of course, the company is, there, may accounting department yan, okay? Anong standards ang ginagamit ng company? Okay, accounting standard. Basically, accounting standard. Okay, yun yung magiging benchmark mo as an auditor. But then again, the question is, what kind of standards? IFRS ba? Diba? Maraming kind of standards. IFRS ba? Baka mamaya naman, Indian, let's say, American standards or the GAAP. Okay, the GAAP. Let me just check here. Right? So, baka naman Canadian GAAP or standards. Okay? So, basically, tayo dito sa Pilipinas, we are using this one, Philippine Financial Reporting Standard, letter B. Okay? So, that's it for 12, 13, 14. So, let's welcome our new participants. And of course, shout out tayo sa ating mga nanonood ng FB Live. Hey guys, welcome! Welcome to our FB Live. Thank you for listening. Okay, so next time guys, for those who are listening to our FB Live, please join our discussion. You have to register into our, of course, registration process. You have to be included there. And of course, thank you guys for those who registered. Oh, ayun na pala eh. Okay, so guys, ganun no? So that's how you're going to analyze the financial, the multiple choice theory, multiple choice questionnaires for auditing theory. So hopefully na-adapt nyo how I answer or how I analyze. Hindi mo kailangang mabasa lahat, but you should have an reasonable understanding on how should you do an auditing of financial statement. Okay? Because auditing theory talks about the theoretical part of auditing the financial statements of the company, while auditing problem is the practical application of the theory, or let us say practical application of the theory and of course your of FAR, the practical accounting, financial accounting reporting, okay, ng mga standards. Okay, so that's how that's how you should adapt on how you adapt in terms of auditing. Okay, you should have an auditor's hat. Okay, hindi pwedeng student's hat. Okay, auditor's hat dapat. How are you going to audit the company? That's the question. That's your first question if you are handling the auditing subject. As an auditor, paano ko i-audit yung company? Para masagutan mo yan at saka para para ma-practice mo na yung sarili mo when you are answering problem solving. Okay? Hindi ka estudyante. Imagine na hindi ka estudyante. You should be an auditor. Okay? Kasi, syempre, kapag naging CPA ka na, so, welcome to CPA world, di ba? So, number 15, each time an auditor draws a conclusion based on evidence from From a sample, an additional risk, sampling risk is introduced. An example of sampling risk. So, guys, no, sampling risk is, let us say, okay, sampling risk, okay, is a cause of the audit risk, one of the cause of audit risk. Ibig sabihin, guys, kasi pag may ang audit risk mo kasi, if you issue a wrong opinion, right, as an auditor. So, bakit? Because of the, maybe because of the assessment that you made, okay? Because of the assessment that you made, that based on your assessment, everything is fairly stated. Where in fact, based on your assessment, may sampling risk ka doon. So, based on your sample, okay, your sample, mali pala yung sample mong nakuha. What if mali ang nakuha mong sample? So your conclusion will be wrong. Okay? So tingnan natin ang tanong, an example of sampling risk. So tingnan natin, improperly applying a proper audit procedure to sample data. So improper na siya. So it's okay. Properly applying an improper audit procedure to sample data, okay? Drawing an erroneous conclusion, di ba? Ito yung diniscuss natin na you have a wrong conclusion or erroneous conclusion because of the wrong sample na na-derive mo, na nakuha mo. Okay? So paikot-ikot siya, guys, ano? So if let us say if you ever master the auditing process, okay? Kahit paikot-ikutin nila 'yan. Okay? So auditing process is I will give you background of auditing process. The auditing process is simple lang, guys, ano? First is you have to understand the entity or your client or how the business do. Okay, it's business. What are the processes of the business? So you should understand the business of the entity. Okay, you should understand its processes. So yung processes niya, paano ba niya ginagawa yung mga paggawa ng check, okay, pag-orders, okay. And then from there, you should assess the internal control of the company. Okay? Because your internal control affects your financial statements. All right? So your financial statement. So, and then from there, from financial statement, audit of financial statement, you assess, and then you prepare the report. Okay, and then number 5 is prepare the report, and then issue the report. Okay. So that's the simple lang yan. Simple okay? That's the simple auditing process, but we are discussing that in detail sa ating CPA Online Review School. So meron pa siya, ito lang yung mga key areas lang to, but meron pa tayong mga tinatawag na emphasis, let us say post-engagement or post-engagement review. Meron kang tinatawag na meron pa kami dito before understanding, meron ka pa niyan pre-engagement. So meron pa yan, no, guys, no? Hindi lang ito yung auditing process, but what I'm trying to say is if you have ideas on this 1, 2, 3, and 4, or maybe pag-isahin mo na to, okay, if you have ideas, I think you're good in auditing theory. Okay, so number 16, let me clear this one. Number 16, during the course of his audit of the financial statements of corporation of the purpose of expressing an opinion, a CPA is refused permission to inspect. Oh, so guys, no, meron kang refuse. Okay, meron kang limitation of work. So when you say limitation of work, saan tayo? Disclaimer. Okay, letter D, disclaimer. Okay. Nice. Nice. So 16, 17, 18, I think nasagutan natin to nung nakaraan, no? 17, 18, to mga problem na to. And then number 19, nasagutan na natin. Number 20, the following are correct statements concerning the audit of Fairview. Ayan, nasagutan na rin natin yan. I think ang sagot here is, ito guys, matatawa kayo dito sa isa kong technique na ginawa ng board exam. Sabi ko, ano kaya ang, kasi kapag hindi ko alam, naghahanap ako ng pinakamahaba. Okay? Pinakamahaba or pinakamaikli. So, ina-assess ko yan. But of course, no, hindi ko sinasabing palaging effective yun. But what I'm trying to say is there will be instances as an average guy, no, I don't have a beautiful mind na katulad ng mga top-notchers. No, I will do everything para pumasa ako. Okay? So, I'm analyzing things according dun sa situation. Katulad yan, number 20, hindi ko alam. So, maybe letter C is the proper sagot. Pero tingnan ko yung aking kodigo, no? Baka letter C naman niya. I think nasagot ko to nung nakaraan. Let me just check, no? Yeah, it's letter C. Letter C. Oh, di ba? So it's letter C. Yeah, so that's it guys for our auditing theory. That concludes our discussion for auditing theory. So thank you so much guys for listening for auditing theory. Let's go into another topic which is the auditing problem.